This is Earl Amin with the 2020 Foresight Podcast, where CEOs of small to global companies share their insights. It is 6 questions in 9 minutes because top CEOs know how to listen and to be concise. So let's get to it. First of all, welcome. And in just a few sentences, tell us who you are and what you do.
Well, Earl, first and foremost, thank you so much for affording me the opportunity to be here with you today. My name is Max Claircius. I'm the CEO of the Claircius Group, which is a foremost real estate group in the Central Florida market. I'm also the CEO of Angel Eyes Home Care, as well as Angel Eyes Primary Care. I'm also the co-host of the Evolven2Power podcast, along with my lovely wife, Dr. Alicia Claircius.
Very good and well done. Well, Max, what's the best thing about being the CEO of your many enterprises?
I think, Earl, it's two things for me. One is being able to create, really create from out of thin air, an idea, a concept, and working it and watching it become alive before my very eyes. And secondly, being able to share that along with my partners, whether it's employee partners, whether it's other partners that we share with, being able to share that same vision with them and watching them come to life with my very vision and making it their own, where it's no longer about me, but it's about the collective. It's amazing.
Indeed. Well, I'm sure in your career path, and certainly true within mine, I've heard from other CEOs that leading the team, being able to see what lies ahead, curves in the road, can be a challenge. What are your thoughts?
Absolutely. It's I liken it to taking a walk or running in the early morning. You could only, with the fog out, you could only see the first, let's just say 20 or 30 feet ahead of you. So in that space, you have to really operate within faith, right? Because you got to trust I'm doing the right things. I'm taking the right steps. I'm walking in the right direction. And I trust that it'll play out. So that's definitely difficult, walking in uncomfortability, not knowing what's going to happen 2-3 months from today. But where we find solace in our businesses is knowing that we're doing the right thing and we're just trusting that it's going to play out as it should, or at least as we anticipate.
Indeed. Well said. Well, in your many endeavors, I'm sure you've gained, as you just stated, a great deal of wisdom and perspective. What piece of insight do you want to share with other CEOs?
Absolutely. I think it's always go back to basics. I find that when success starts to come, people essentially lose a sense of what got them there. And those were the basics. So if you look at a Michael Jordan, and I always liken, to amazing sports players and great coaches, they always say practice the basics, because it is in those clutch time, the flair is not going to matter much, right? But it's the basics, the consistent, the repetitive, that which may be tedious, but is necessary for your success. So if I would say anything to any CEOs, if you're experiencing any challenge, go back to the basics. Remember what got you there in the first place, and it'll provide the necessary insight you need.
Indeed. Well said. Now, Max, throughout your career, I'm sure you've encountered other CEOs, but for here and now, what other successful CEOs like yourself would you like to say, give a shout out to, and should be on my podcast?
Absolutely. A few come to mind, but a gentleman that's, is instrumental here in Central Florida by the name of Phil Nahayeski. He's definitely someone that I think would be extremely beneficial to the show, share his insights. He has a wealth of knowledge to share. I think he'd be great. Also, my wife, Dr. Alicia Claircius, who's my partner in all things, all the businesses that I mentioned. She's alongside me. And I think she has a different perspective. She thinks a little bit differently. She'd be great. And also, I think two others, Spencer Elliott, the owner of ViewStub, as well as Eric Pless from the Pless Group. I think those four individuals would be beneficial to you and your audience on your podcast.
Indeed. Thank you very much. Now, Max, for the final question, how do you celebrate a win?
My answer may be a little bit controversial, Earl, but I think my answer would be briefly. What do I mean by that? I'm okay with the hurrahs, the high fives, the trips. But in my personal business, victory in life, I should say, is always marked by challenge and struggle. So if the victory comes, challenge and struggle is soon to come after.
Yes.
So if we get too caught up in the celebration phase, we miss the opportunity for the preparation stage. So I'm okay with the hurrahs. I'm okay with the celebration, but let's keep it brief so that way we can prepare for what is ahead of us inevitably, so we don't lose sight of the real goal.
Very good. Very good. Well, Max, it's been a pleasure having you on today. How can people find you?
Absolutely. I'm very easy to find. I try to make myself available. You can find me on LinkedIn at the Claircius Group, as well on Facebook, also the Claircius Group. You can find me on Instagram at the Claircius Group, and also on YouTube, the Claircius Group.
Very good. This is Earl Amin with the 2020 Foresight Podcast. For more insights, go to LinkedIn and search for The Gray Owl Company. Max, thank you so very much.
Earl, thank you so much for your time, and I truly appreciated and enjoyed our conversation today.